recording?
Yep.
Chocolate.
Okay. Shh. Zachary, shh. Okay, today we're going to build a chicken tractor. So to start off, chicken tractor, if you haven't seen one, what are you looking at? Alright. Is it recording?
Yep.
Okay, good. Alright, today we're going to build a chicken tractor. And y'all are going to get to build it with me. Right now we've got some 1x6s made out of cedar that we're going to use for the frame. First thing we have to do is rip these 1x6s smaller size so we can get more use out of the lumber to build more chicken tractors. Alright, cut.
Cut, what do I press?
The record.
Record.
Alright, we're going to rip these 1x6s. Remember, safety first. We've got our dust collector hooked up. Take all the fines and safety glasses. Get your fingers out of the way. There you go. Alright, so we rip these 1x6s into thirds. You could rip them into half. We want to keep these things pretty lightweight because we want to be able to pick them up and move them around after the chickens kind of wear out a spot underneath them. So, and the wood's pretty clear, not too many knots. It's pretty strong. So went ahead and ripped it into thirds. And now we're going to go ahead and cut the legs that are going to support the frame. Alright. Still recording, buddy?
Yep.
One thing about cutting it into thirds that I like, we're going to need 6 legs, and then we're going to need 3 rails. We're going to have a top rail, 2 bottom rails, and 6 legs. So if we cut it into thirds, that gives us 3 longer pieces from a 1x6, 8-foot long, that we can cut in half and get our 6 legs, and 3 pieces here that we can get our 3 rails to make a frame. Okay, Charlie?
What?
You still recording?
Yep.
Alright, Charlie. Now, what I'm going to do is cut them in half to start with. The legs are going to have to be cut on a 60-degree angle, which is kind of difficult to do, but I've got a little bit of a trick on how to do that. Before I do it, what I'm going to do is cut the legs in half. The legs need to be 4 foot long, but we'll lose an inch or so when we cut the angle on it to cut the legs in half. Not a big deal, because they don't have to be exactly 4 foot long. The design is quite flexible. So we come over here to our chop saw, turn on the handy dandy laser light, put the laser on our 4 foot mark. You don't have to be exactly 4 foot because, as I said, we're going to cut an angle on the top. And we can use the first piece we cut as a template to measure the others. And they really don't even have to be exactly the same length because, like I say, this design is really flexible and it's just going to sit out in the yard and house chickens, so it's not a finished piece of furniture by any means. In fact, we can pretty much, don't want to get too sloppy, but just about eyeball. Alright. We cut one more piece.
Oh.
What's up, Charlie?
That.
What's wrong, pal?
The video when it started, it had my finger on it.
Well, you don't still got your finger on it, do you?
Nope. But the video when I started it had my finger on it.
Oh, I know. It'll be alright. This Hitachi is one nice piece of equipment. Got a good deal on it at the wood show, and I have never regretted that purchase. So 10-inch sliding compound miter. It's got the laser guide,
On the laser.
and this thing speeds up in a hurry. And then it shuts right down. Gotta love it. Okay, so we got our 6 legs cut. Now we're going to put that 60-degree taper on it, which I told you I had a trick. Hey Charlie, could you hand me that block, that angle block back there? Yeah, that one right there. Alright buddy, now do your best, Charlie, to try and hold that camera steady. So what I've got is a block with a 45-degree angle on it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with 45 degrees. Since I start with 45 degrees, I only have to rotate my compound miter saw 15 degrees. How about that? Isn't that a trick? What do you think there, Charlie?
Nice.
Thank you, sir. Alright. So I put that up against the stop. This isn't the best way to do this, but hey, like I said, building a chicken coop, this will get her done. 60-degree taper, roughly.
Nice. How do you do that, man?
And if we were really doing it right, I suppose we'd add a piece of fence back there as a stop. But like I said, it's not a piece of furniture, it doesn't have to be perfect. The name of the game here is cheap and effective. Cheap and effective. Because after all, we're raising chickens. You can buy them in the store for about $5 a piece for a whole chicken. So you really don't want to spend any more time than
That.
Second boy, how you doing, Chief?
We're making a video. Out of wood. He's gonna put it on TV. YouTube. Is he gonna put it on YouTube?
That's what I'm talking about.
If you just say YouTube, they'll know. They'll know. Are people watching it right now?
No.
Can people watch it?
Eventually. Okay, Charlie, cut.
Cut.
Cut. We rolling?
Rolling.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and assemble the legs to the rails to make the beginning of the frame. And so basically when we get done, it's going to look like a long, skinny sawhorse. And on one side, what we want to do is we want to leave just enough of the top rail sticking out that we can get a good grip on it when we pick it up to move it around the yard. Because we are going to move these things from time to time. So, you know, we want to get about, I don't know, 5-6 inches, enough you can get a good hand grip. Okay. And these deck screws, Power Pro, I like these deck screws a lot. One thing I don't like about them, different sizes deck screws use different size Torx bit, which is kind of silly because then I have to change Torx bit if I want to drive a 2-inch versus say a 2.5. And another little trick I like to do here, so I'm cheap, I've got a lot of these 2.5-inch deck screws. So what I'll do, go ahead and start that. And then about the time my point starts to come through the other side, I'll go ahead and place, carefully mind you, the other leg of my frame. And I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 legs with 1 screw, however you want to look at it. There we go. We've got 2 legs attached to top rail.
Yes, now.
Okay, so now what we've got is we've got 4 legs attached to the top rail, which is the start of our frame. And like I said, I'm trying to utilize 100% of the wood that I buy and eliminate any scrap. So I like to keep these dimensions something that's going to be divisible by whatever size piece of lumber is going to be readily available at your hardware store. So in my case, I'm going to have a 2-foot piece of lumber that I'm going to attach to these legs. So I'm going to space these back 2 legs 2 feet apart. And also note, I'm going to leave the single handle out on my side with 1 set of legs. And on the side with the box, I'm going to leave the legs flush. And the reason for that is I'm going to have 2 handles on each side, which is going to be part of the frame for my box. The box is the heavier end, so the heavier end will have 2 handles. The lighter end will have 1 handle. Okay. Rolling. Okay, so we've got a piece of our 1x6, which was ripped into 3 long pieces, as you remember. One of those long pieces we cut in half, but we cut the ends at, again, a 30-degree angle. 30-degree angle to match the angle of our legs. These 2 are going to go on the ends, on the bottom, on each side, to keep our legs from spreading when there's weight placed on the chicken coop. Beautiful. Okay.
Rolling.
Okay, so we've got our frame assembled, and like I said, we're going to have 1 handle on the top on one side. We're going to have 2 handles as part of the frame for the box on the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut 1 piece 32 inches long, and then we're going to rip that piece at a 30-degree angle, and I'll show you why here in a second, to form the base and the handles for our box.
Rolling.
Rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my table saw tilted on a 32-degree angle, and I have my piece of 1x6 cut to 32 inches long, and we are going to rip it in half, and we're going to use each side with the 30-degree angle on each side. So once again, 2 birds, 1 stone, or 2 boards with 1 cut. All right.
Coming.
Okay, so we've got the frame put together. We've got a piece of plywood, 2 foot wide by 2.5 foot long, set down as the base for the house and for the box. And we're going to switch from exterior screws, deck screws, to staples. Okay, and as you all know, when you're working in the heat and you're sweating, it's important to stay hydrated. Luckily for me, I have a beautiful wife who knows when I'm in the wood shop and I'm working and I'm sweating, she needs to bring me a nice tall glass of cold iced tea. Not really anything to do with the chicken tractor, but important for your health and your love life. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is make some shingles for the box, and we've got a piece of 1x6 cut to the right length to cover the box, and we're going to resaw it into 3 pieces. So basically we're going to turn this into this. Alright, and how we're going to do that is on the bandsaw. So, I'm just going to take my pencil divider, mark a line to help me keep my cut lined up as I resaw the board along the bandsaw. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to voice over some of the remaining portion of the video. We had taken video of the remaining steps to complete the tractor, but unfortunately the cell phone we took that video on crapped out on us and we didn't have it backed up, so we lost the video. But I'm just going to go ahead and explain the remaining steps. So coming up here you go, you can see the completed chicken tractor, and you see that we use a 1/2 inch thick piece of plywood to cover the front and the back of the box, and then in the front of the box there's that arched opening for the chickens to walk in and out of. Just sketch that out and cut it on a jigsaw before you tack that piece up into the frame. And then the ladder coming down is a strip of 1/2 inch plywood, same width as the opening, and then you want to use like 3/4 by 3/4 pieces of wood just stapled to it. You can see it there, and then just a hinge attached. And I set the hinge so when you lift up the tractor, that little ladder will not hang really any lower than where you see it there, and then maybe an inch lower when you set it on the ground, the bottom will just barely touch. So on the back side, which you'll see in a second, there's the 1/2 inch piece of plywood, and again you cut that one solid piece, and then you just cut it in half there where the hinge is, and maybe about you leave a third, maybe you leave a quarter, and then 3/4 at the bottom, and then the 2 handles sticking out, I just drilled a hole on each side, and then I have a large nail that I can place on each side to hold it shut. And then when you lift it up, you can drill a hole through the door and the fixed piece of plywood, and then slide one of those big nails back through that hole to hold the door open. You just want to open it up and let the chickens run around in and out of it during the day or whatnot, if you want to let them free range for a while. So let's see, the deck stain, or after you get it completed, we just use some red cedar deck stain.
Been out in the weather for about 3 years now and haven't restained it. It's held up pretty well. The wire we covered the outside of it with is 48-inch high by a 25-foot roll. That'll cover the whole thing with some left over. We stapled it on at first, but then we found the easiest, most secure way is just to get a pack of large zip ties and just zip tie it to the members of the frame, and you can do that all around except for that area where it attaches to the box. In that case, we used a bigger pneumatic stapler and hold it on there nice and securely. That is about it. Thanks for watching. You can find the completed parts list, the dimension drawings, all that information on the website, so please stop by and check it out. Thanks.